Welcome to the JAWN podcast. I'm your host, Shalia.
And your host, Shanina.
And today's words of affirmation says, with a mindset of strength, you can accomplish anything. And the word of the week is, ob- let me say this correctly, objectively or objectively, however you want to pronounce it. But objectively means not influenced by personal feelings or opinions in considering and representing facts, unbiased. I picked this word because for me personally, um, in the everyday work that I do, I have to think and speak from an objective point of view, but sometimes I tend not to do that in my personal life.
Mm.
So I
Oh, that's interesting.
I need to practice that more in my personal life, especially with my partner. So yeah, that's why I picked this word.
But I mean, I think if the definition is not influenced by personal feelings, I would think. I mean, if it's personal things, then I would think it would need to be influenced by personal feelings.
No, not when. So say if it's him telling me about something or somebody else
Oh, okay.
because I know like
I
the
get what you're saying.
history or things that happen with the other person, then I'm going to speak from a bias or have my personal feelings involved with
Oh,
it.
okay. When it's a third party situation, not
Right.
like a direct. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so let's check in. Sis, you cool? What's going on with you?
I honestly I feel like kind of indifferent like for the last couple of days, so I'm probably at like a 7.
Okay.
I'm not feeling bad and I'm not feeling great, so I'm like in the middle.
Okay. Cool. Um, I'm like a 5.
Mm.
I'm tired. It's been raining here like crazy, which makes everything a gloom. Um, and just a lot has been going on, not even with me personally, but
Mhm.
just hearing about other people, like stuff that's going on in Philly with these shootings and how it's affecting people I personally know. It's just gloom. So, I've been praying and asking God to protect the kids because well, all these shootings and stuff around the schools and at the bus stops, like I said, it's personally affecting people that I know. So yeah, but
Yeah.
it's
This
just it got to get better. I don't know what's going on in my city. I just don't. So.
yeah. I don't know either. Um that's why I try to stay in the house. It's horrible.
Yeah, but then it's like you don't want to be afraid to send your child to school and
Yeah. No, it's trust me, it's very scary. I do know that when my daughter went to her private school, all when you had to get buzzed in and all that to get in, I definitely wasn't as anxious. More recently she's been telling me an incident about like this kid and he's been like he think it's funny to say like, oh, I'm gonna shoot this place up. Like he think it's funny. And
mm.
it's been occasions where he will like act like he's going to his school bag. Everybody is like on edge with him. Just
So what is the school doing about it?
I don't know because the first incident she texted me. I don't know if I was telling you. She had texted me like I'm scared that this boy's gonna shoot the school up. This was like a month and a half ago maybe. And I messaged her, I texted her teacher. Like what is going what's going on? She was like, no, there was no gun. His parents been brought up, he's been brought up, they all talked or whatever. And then more recently she told me that. Like he thinks it's funny. I don't know why, but I'm just like he really needs to go.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he really like you really needs to go. Like these kids shouldn't feel like something is gonna happen. But
right.
he think
Yeah.
it's funny. Like some people think
No, because you could get locked up for that. Like that's not cute or funny. That's
oh,
threats
yeah,
of
it
like
is. Yeah, it is terroristic threats. You're right.
horrible.
And
Mm,
so it's like,
mm,
it's been so many different things just in comparison. It's like a lot of times you might be like, because like me personally, like when she was going to the private school, wasn't I didn't dislike the school at all. It just was like I didn't feel like it was worth all that money, but I kind of see it now.
yeah.
So I kind of see it more now. It's just like you're more at ease, it's just, and then she didn't have to worry about like the situation with, puberty age boys. Like they're
Mhm,
a mess. And I know when I was younger, I went through the fights that I had in school was with boys.
mm,
So I know I know how they are. I be telling you, you just gotta ignore them. Like that's what they want. They want to get a rise out of you. You just gotta ignore them.
yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
So, oh, I like that drawing, or nope, I don't like that drawing. What you got this week?
So I started watching this documentary on Netflix called I think it's called The American Conspiracy. No, it's called American Conspiracy, The Octopus Murders. And I'm only on the first episode, but it was deep. Like just the first episode is basically about there was this journalist who was investigating the DOJ, and like he ended up dead. And so now somebody current day is investigating his murder and what he was investigating with the DOJ. So it's good.
Okay. So y'all know I'm greedy. And I always talk about food, but one day last week, I forget what day it was. I had made seafood potatoes. So I had sauteed some crab meat and some shrimp, and I had made some homemade cheese sauce. And when I say
What kind of crab meat did you use? The crab meat in the jar?
the
I mean, in
fresh
the
crab meat,
oh,
mhm,
fresh.
mhm, and I
Mm.
just sauteed it with some garlic butter. I made some garlic butter, and I sauteed it in that, and then the shrimp, and then baked the potatoes, then put everything. I put some cheese sauce on the bottom, some garlic butter, fattening child, and
Sounds
then I
good.
put the seafood. It did the cheese, and I put some chives, some fresh chives.
Oh, you should put some. You should have threw some broccoli in there to, give it a little
No,
bit.
we had broccoli on the side because
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's Eric's favorite vegetable. He'll eat
Oh,
broccoli every
okay.
single day if he could. But yeah, I had broccoli on the side. The broccoli wouldn't have been the potatoes were so stuffed. You wouldn't have been able to put nothing else on there. But I think we ate that twice, 2 days in a row because it was so
Did
good.
y'all? Oh, it must have been so good.
It was. It was really good. So yeah, but again, that was like a treat because we've been doing really good with not eating. Like we stopped eating rice. We've been eating cauliflower rice and having like a balanced meal. I don't really eat meat, but he'll have the cauliflower rice, broccoli, and whatever meat. So that was like a treat for us. So we really enjoyed it. So
And that was your first time making it?
yeah, that was my first time making it. I saw somebody on TikTok make it.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, where'd you?
Yeah, I saw somebody on TikTok make it, and I was like, that looks really, really good. And
Man,
so,
listen, they be making all types of stuff on the internet and on TikTok. Have you buying all types of stuff.
girl, I
Girl.
got so many things saved in my phone. It's like you don't need to be eating that,
Mm.
so don't even tempt yourself. But yeah, they will. They'll have you thinking about making all kinds of stuff, and then you'll be 500 pounds. No offense to anybody, but that's not where I need to be right now with my life.
Girl.
So yeah. All right, prime time. Did you buy anything? If so, what did you buy?
So right now I'm actually I've been looking up because I don't have a dishwasher. So I've been looking up countertop dishwashers. So I think I might buy it. It's in my basket. What is it called?
How much is
Cart.
it?
It's in my cart. It's like 250.
How big is it?
Cart. Probably like I mean, it's not big. It's like probably like a little bit bigger than a microwave, maybe.
So how many dishes can it fit?
It's a lot because I mean, not nowhere near as much as a big dishwasher. You can't put like pans in it, but it's
Oh,
for, your plates and your cups and like that. So you
oh,
can
okay.
get that out the way.
Okay.
You can't really fit like pans in it. Probably like maybe like a small saucepan or something like that. But it fits probably like 10 plates and,
Oh, okay.
nice amount.
That's funny because I was talking to Tiffany, and I was telling her how we've been using our dishwasher, child, like crazy. I'm like, "We don't had no kids here to wash the dishes because that was their job." I said, "We don't had no kids
That is
here to wash,"
hilarious.
and so after work, coming home, cooking, and then you like, "I'm tired. Them dishes was right in
Yes.
the dishwasher."
Yes. Yes. That's why I said, like, I mean, I don't be having the time. So I'm thinking about investing in it because I feel like I can get a lot done. I get more done with it.
That's why you gotta get your house, and that be one of the things that comes with
Oh
it.
yeah, I know. Oh, for sure.
And I'm like, the water bill is no different.
Nope.
So I because Tiffany was like, "Well, you know,
I feel like you run a lot of water when you're washing
when you
dishes.
wash dishes, right?" The
Yeah.
only thing I don't like is like I like to put a little bit of bleach in my dishwater, and you can't do that with the dishwasher. So that's the only thing. But she was
Yeah,
like, "Well,
or you
maybe
get like really hot steam. Like it's gonna get hotter probably than it would be like what you can touch with your hands. So it's
right,
probably
right,
hot.
right, yeah." Yeah, I mean, so far so good. It's just that that's something that I like. Now, when I do wash the dishes, that's something that I like. But yeah, no difference in the water bill or nothing. It's just very convenient.
Yes,
Very, very, very convenient.
I
So
know.
I can understand why you would want one.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Well, you know
Yeah.
what? Years ago, Jasmine had one years ago. That was a long time ago. I know she had one. But something made me, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it came up somewhere, but something made me look into it. But
She
they
had
had
a countertop one?
she had a portable one. I don't know if it was countertop, but it was a portable one, like not one that was stationary. So
Uh,
like the one I've been looking into, you can either um connect it to your faucet or you can just put the water in there. So
uh,
you can just put the water in there and then it will just, circulate, or you can actually connect it to the faucet.
I never seen those. I just saw those mini well, they not mini, but those smaller washers and dryers that
Yeah.
people be using, putting them in their bathtubs and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a whole situation also.
Yeah. So I bought one of those jackets that when you working out, they make you sweat. I
Mhm.
guess it's called a slimming jacket, yeah. Because I need to do everything I can to get this weight off ASAP. Not that it's a lot that need to come off, but still, sometimes I just need a little extra. So I had bought those for both of us, and because I'm trying to lose this weight by tomorrow.
By tomorrow. That's hilarious. You don't want to
By
be like me,
tomorrow,
honey.
but yeah, so that's all
Yeah,
I bought.
what
I've
you
been doing
do?
really good budgeting.
Yeah, I can't wait to get like my clearance and everything because I really that's the part that's so funny is that I really have the desire right now to work out, but you know, I can't really do it till I get the clearance. But that's just funny. Probably because I'm like way smaller. So I'm like, it's not gonna be as bad.
Yeah, yeah. Just when you have the motivation, because most of the time we don't have the motivation to do it. It's a mindset. So if you got the motivation to do it, but you can't, that's hard.
Yeah, I might just start walking. I should be able to at least do that. But I know my balance is not the greatest. That's the part that's so I noticed months ago that like my muscles wasn't as strong. Like if I was stooped low, it would be hard for me to get up. And I never that wasn't even if I'm like overweight, that wasn't the case. But even it's a lot of things where my muscles is not nowhere near as strong as they used to be. So that's why I
Yeah.
can't wait to work out and plus by me losing the weight without working out is some stuff is saggy. So
Hmm. Yeah. All right. So you got to hit this joint up is where we highlight a small business. And because this month we forgot to mention is Women's History Month. Um, so this week we're highlighting a business called Women's Way, and it is located in Philadelphia. And it is the Greater Philadelphia region's leading nonprofit organization dedicated to the advancement of women, girls, gender, and racial equity. Um, they have several initiatives that they have. Recently, they did something where they awarded several women in the city of Philadelphia awards for their businesses. Um, a few businesses that we follow and highlighted, like Philly Experiences. I think she won like third place. So shout out to her. But Women's Way, one of their initiatives is the Gender Wealth Institute, and that is to bring together governments, nonprofits, philanthropy, businesses, and women experiencing economic insecurity. And their whole thing is that all women in the Philadelphia region attain financial well-being for themselves and their families. So, like I said, they have several initiatives, but if you want to gain financial wealth, or get more information about how to grow your wealth for your family and things like that, this organization is a great organization to turn to. Majority of their services are free. Um, so you can find them on Instagram. Their Instagram is Women's Way Philly, all one word. You can email them at info@womensway.org. Their phone number is 215-985-3322. And they're actually located on 123 South Broad Street in Philadelphia. So again, if you're looking to gain financial wealth, or get more information and things like that, this is a great place to start. So make sure y'all hit them up and see what they have to offer.
Yeah. Well, this is our first podcast in March for Women's History Month, right?
And this is our second podcast of the season. That is just us, because we've had guests
Yeah.
for every other episode. Yeah.
So y'all stuck with us. Okay, so I'm gonna do the horoscope. I'm going to do Taurus, and for money for Taurus, you make sure you listen here. You have the benefit of the doubt this week. Thanks to influences in your area, politics, and groups, a dream you've held close to your heart as a chance to develop as your social networks connect you to the very important people you need to know. You may need to pay more attention to your house of fun, romance, and children. Bring this joyful energy into your work. And for love, over the weekend, Mercury moves into bold Aries, which should help you speak up about your wants and needs. There's no reason to be quiet anymore, Taurus, especially when it comes to your sex drive. A new moon arrives in romantic Pisces on Sunday, encouraging you to put common sense aside as it adds a creative spark to your love life. What? Set the mood of lighting candles, ordering your favorite takeout meal, and making a special playlist. Your boo will definitely get the hint. I did not put that there. That's how it was. And for health, you may be trying to get your food situation sorted out by cooking healthful meals for you and your family. This is certainly something to aim for. It's worth any time spent in planning and preparation. Enlist the help of kids and partners to make the job easier. You'll find that you feel better, have more energy, and enjoy the opportunity to connect with your family at mealtimes.
Okay. Interesting. So, like we said earlier, this is Women's History Month. We're women. The JAWN podcast is to empower and uplift women. So our episode topic is Women's History Month, and we're going to talk about a few things in our personal lives. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is who is or was the most the most influential woman in our lives. So who would you say is or was the most influential woman in your life?
The most influential woman in my life is my mom.
Mhm.
Um, I say that because, but the thing is, um, mainly because she's a very supportive person. She's always, anytime I need anything from my mom, like my mom never tells me no. Anytime I ever need something, anything from her, um, she's always there, and she's very, reliable. I know that she's always like thinking about me. She goes somewhere, she pick me up something, even in my big age. So I would say I would say my mom. Who would you
Okay.
say?
I would also say my mom because, I've talked about this before, and I'm not at a young age as a
Mm,
teenager.
yeah,
Well, I didn't have my mom in my teenage years because she passed away when I was 14. And she started using drugs when I was in middle school.
yeah.
But prior to that, my mom worked 2 jobs. She used to work, I forgot what this bank was called. I think it was called First Pennsylvania Bank on 30th Street. It's another bank now.
Mhm.
My mom will work at the bank during the day. She would come home, cook us dinner, and then she would go work overnight at the McDonald's on 30th Street.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
And she did that every day. But no matter what, when we came home from school, we had dinner. So, and what's even crazier is at the time we used to live on 42nd Street, and she used to walk from 42nd Street to 30th Street multiple times a day because it did. After I thought about it, I'm like, you could just catch the trolley, but it was like from where she worked, it wasn't exactly on 30th. It was like 32nd, so she would have had to walk to 30th Street, get on a trolley, but then the trolley would let her off at Lancaster, so she would still have to walk over to Westminster. By the time she did all that, she could walk.
Oh, no, she would probably catch the trolley on Lancaster Avenue, right?
Yeah, but she didn't catch the trolley. She used to
Right, I'm
just
saying
walk.
she would yeah. You know
Yeah.
what? Honestly, walking because that was the only option for a lot of our, like, people before us, the distance wasn't that deep to them, and, like, when I think about when I was younger, I remember this is one thing I never forget. My mom used to have us walk to Smith Playground from our house.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
that is far. Smith
Yeah,
Playground
now
was
we think about it, but when we used to walk, it was nothing because we was used to walking.
girl, yes. We walked to 52nd Street all the time.
Yes.
Down the way. That was we walked there all the time. I remember one time I walked from 52nd Street all the way to 63rd. Like, I don't know. I think just
Yeah,
back in the day, walking it wasn't that deep.
yeah. But she did that multiple times. She did it in the morning, then she came home, then she went back, then you know what I'm saying? A day.
That's
So
crazy.
I was like,
Right.
that's a lot. But for her, it was something that was relaxing. Back in the day, it wasn't a whole bunch of crimes, all that stuff. But everything too that I know about cooking, cleaning, cook all of that my mom taught me about. She empowered us, you're beautiful. And we didn't have a lot, but I didn't recognize that until I got older. And also like one thing my mom did not play about was cleaning. Now, even though she worked and did all this, she expected us to do our chores. We had weekly chores. Don't let her come home and her kitchen is a mess because she gonna wake the whole house up. Even though that wasn't your week to do the dishes, you participating in helping to clean the kitchen because y'all supposed to hold each other accountable. Which is why I don't understand why me and my sisters aren't close to this day. But I know it's because my mom's not here because my mom didn't play that with raising us. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all all sisters, y'all hold each other accountable. If your sister didn't do her chore, why didn't she do her chore and y'all allow her to go to bed without doing it? When y'all knew I was gonna wake y'all up. I don't care y'all gotta get up to school at 6:30 in the morning. My kitchen should have been clean. So a lot of that, and people say like,
They be doing videos on there all the time.
yeah, because
Oh God,
and
hilarious.
people think I'm stern, which I am, but a lot of that I get from my
Yeah, that's
mom
Mhm.
because she didn't play about stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
after a certain time, cut off my lights, don't go in my kitchen, and make sure my kitchen clean because she was the one who did all the cooking and stuff. So she wanted to come to a clean kitchen. So I'ma say she was definitely, and she still is, because people in my family still talk about how good a cook my mom was. Things that she did. My mom was a licensed hair stylist. She did hair in the house. She went to Winford Beauty Academy. So
Mhm.
just a lot of things that she did to
Yeah.
keep going that I didn't recognize until I was older. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And even
But
there's the fact that now you like be doing your own hair, you know?
yeah, because I used to watch a lot of stuff. I used to get on my mom's nerves. I used to watch her cook. My other sisters would be outside. She'd be like, "Why are you in here?" I'm like, "I'm trying to
Yeah.
learn."
Mhm.
And even with doing hair, I would ask her a whole bunch of questions because I still ask a whole bunch of questions to this day. But she would be like, I don't have time to answer your questions. Ask me later. But I would always be trying to learn like what she was doing because I was so intrigued by it. So a lot of things in a lot of ways I am like her.
Yeah.
So all right. So what woman celebrity do you admire?
For me, it's Tabitha Brown. Um,
Okay.
Number one, we're not that far. She's like a year older than me.
Mhm.
And I've watched her. To me, she's like such a vessel of God blessings. Like I watched, her rise has been all public. So it's
Mhm.
like just watching somebody go and then her constantly giving her testimony and her constantly like accrediting it to God. I definitely that is like I'm not really a type of person who like really likes celebrities like that. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of times you may like somebody and then they wind up, you put them on a pedestal and something wind up coming out and you're like, dang. So like for me, um, that's somebody who I really like admire her spirit. I admire her dedication. Like, we're similar. She had 2 kids. I got 2 kids. She got a husband. I got a husband. Like, her dedication. And it's like some things that she does in regards to like her marriage, I understand, So that's when I had to think about it. That's one of the celebrities. And she's like a new celebrity, you know what I mean? Who I admire.
Okay, that's a good pick. Mine is probably gonna surprise you and other people, but Imma have to say Fantasia. Um, and I think for me, I first started admiring her when she was on American Idol and finding out she had a baby and she
Hmm.
was able to push through all of this. But
Yeah.
then when she came out with her is it a biopic or a bio? I don't know. With her movie, Imma say,
You don't
and
like her.
learning that, she couldn't read and things like that, how she just kept pushing through. And
Yeah.
even now with everything that she went through, I think she's finally getting her shine.
Hmm.
And sharing some of her story about how she lost everything 3 times and, being honest and truthful about your journey, not presenting to the world like you got it all together and,
That part.
everything is all good because a lot of celebrities do that. I like to see the good, bad, and ugly, and I think Tabitha Brown does that as well. Um,
But
but just
Fantasia and Tabitha are from the same town.
they are, and they recently hung out. They
Yeah.
friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
Tab was saying like she, the whole town was rooting Fantasia on when she was on Idol.
American Idol,
Mm,
yeah. I just think her and now that she's found love and is genuine and how her husband supports her and all of that stuff, even with her recent, journey of her having another baby, everything that she went through with that, it was like, wow, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I admire Fantasia.
yeah, I like Fantasia too. Yeah. And um I think it's more so just seeing like a maybe like something about yourself in somebody else too.
Mhm,
And then knowing like that they've overcome certain adversities, it kind of gives you like hope. So
yeah. Because
but
when I sat back and thought about it, I was like, who can I say that I genuinely admire and I feel like they're honest and open about things that they go through. They don't hide it, they don't sugarcoat it. So yeah.
right. Yeah.
All right. So as a woman, who or what are you striving to be?
I think I think my number one priority is to make sure that my mental health is okay, like being aware of my like mental wellness.
Mhm.
So, I guess I'm striving to be because I feel like my world is centered with my children. So, I want to make an impact in their life because I never know. You never know if you're gonna be here today or tomorrow. So my whole thing is like you now. Your mother's been gone, and she's made a big impact on your life. You know,
Mhm.
so I want to make sure that if anything ever happens to me, my children always have good things to say about me, and that I'm impactful in their life. Like I always want to make sure that we are good.
Okay. For me, um, so and I learned this through school and other therapists that have mentored me and things like that. But something that I always share with my clients, there are 5 things, is being mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially whole. So I wanna be whole in all 5 categories. And how it was explained to me when I first, heard this is that, like, when you're whole in these areas, when things come, they won't hit you so hard. Like, you'll have the capacity to deal with them, and they
Mhm.
won't hit you so hard to the point where mentally you're just fighting to get back. Even financially, sometimes we're careless with our spending and our money, and then when things come up, we're like, say you get in an accident, you gotta pay your deductible, and your deductible is $500, and you're like, "I'll have it."
Right.
But if you're working to be financially whole, you'll have that $500. Yes, you might moan and complain about it, but the
Right.
good thing is that you got the $500, and it's not gonna set you back a whole lot to where you're feeling like, "Oh, now I gotta go do this and do that to make up," or, "I gotta go get this 5 work some extra hours to get this $500 because rent's due next week." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So and I know that in all of those areas, um, I need to be whole and be better because I think that encompasses in everything that I or where I need to be in life so that when things come along, because that's gonna come,
Yep.
health issues as we get older, not just with us, but with our friends and, close people in our lives. And I just think if that's what I'm working towards, not saying that I'm not gonna be affected, but it'll affect me in a different way. So,
Right. So
yeah.
they're like foundational. Like, those are like your foundation in regards to your check-ins. So basically like your check-ins with yourself is to make sure, okay, I'm lacking here. I need to, and I feel like in every aspect of all 5 of those things, I need to work on all 5, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And that's why because I always say this, the mental and the physical work together. And a lot of times when things was wrong with me physically, I didn't recognize like, oh, well, this is because you're not mentally well. Like you're just automatically going to, I got these ailments. I need to go to the doctor, figure out what I need to do, but not thinking or addressing your mental health. And so once I realized that and got to know like how they all work together, I'm always checking in with myself when I feel myself maybe a little bit off or depressed or starting to fall into that space. I'm like, what's going on? What's putting you here? And you know,
Yeah.
I grew up poor, so financially, I always am thinking about how I could be better to break those generational curses and just what I need to do, like put my money in a high yield savings account and work on my 401k and all of that stuff because those are things that nobody told me about. So I've never been working on them earlier. I'm just starting to learn those things late in life. So, you gotta put a little extra work in, but it's never too late to start.
Yeah, and I also feel like with the mental health is that all of those aspects can be affected if like the mental
Mhm.
health you let it go. But the thing about mental health is that if you aren't on alert on a consistent basis, that if you get in a place where your mental health is not good at all, it can be really hard for you to identify it. It'll be really
Right.
hard for you to even know that that's what you have going on. So I'm grateful that a lot of people are having open conversations about their mental well-being. I know me personally, I like maybe a couple of days ago, I was like, I think I need I think I need to start therapy again. So it just I think it's really like getting to know yourself, spending time with yourself, and identifying things that you may not be like 100% okay with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's too, like, something that I recognize, um, I was like, "Who am I beyond being a friend and a daughter and, all these different roles, and what makes me happy?" And I had to really sit back and genuinely think, and it shouldn't be that hard to figure out what makes you happy, but I think sometimes we lose sight of that because 'cause we're always doing this and, you know, doing that, and for me, since I help other people, I can get engulfed in that and forget about, you know, "Well, what about you? You gotta detach from this. You gotta unwind." You telling other people to practice self-care, but are you practicing self-care? So, as women, we take on a lot. We birth babies, we have a menstrual cycle, and it just be a lot sometimes. So we gotta make sure that we're doing what we need to sustain ourselves. Because even with that, even with talk about my mom, not only did she do drugs, but she had mental health issues. You know what I mean? And they weren't properly addressed. So I think that has a lot to do with why she turned to drugs. You know what I mean? So
Most people.
even thinking about that and realizing like I don't want to go down that road. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Yeah, just knowing that there is, mental illnesses in your family or whatsoever, you always have to be on alert. And then like it's also to me about being humble, like, okay, damn, I do need help. You know what I mean? I need help,
mhm,
it's but I think that that's one thing that I feel like women have over men because I don't feel like I do not feel like a lot of men are open to addressing any of their like instabilities, whether it be mentally, physically, emotionally, any of those things, even if it's financially. A lot of times like men, they're not addressing it. um so that's one thing that I know I want to, because I'm raising a son, I want to make sure that he um you know feels secure to try to identify when he has problems, and either seek help or try to make a plan on resolving it, because some people, a lot of people, aren't in touch with their own self. Like you just said, sometimes you may not know what makes you happy, or if happiness is even a desire for some people. Some people are just living. um
mhm,
and it wasn't until a couple years ago when I realized, I was like, oh, okay, I'm like, I understand that pursuit of happiness. I understand that now, because we do a lot of things on a daily basis that does not make us happy, but it's things that need to get done. But it may not make you happy. So if you aren't like trying to identify certain things that make you happy so that you can like do those things occasionally, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah. I
life
think
gets in the
the
way.
whole thing with men is their upbringing because 'cause they're taught, "Don't cry, man up," and the man is supposed to provide and do all of these things.
which is
So a
super
lot of time. Huh?
which is super stressful. I mean,
It is.
to constantly put that on, some I know my father, like I know that when his parents got divorced, then he looked at it like he now has to be the man of the house,
Mhm.
even though he's like 12, and he's been working. He been working. He work and he come home and bring the money to his mom. A little
Right.
12-year-old boy. But she, it's like it's additional stress. We all have our own stresses. And a lot of times I feel like men, that's one of the reasons why a lot of times the men life expectancy is lower than us, because they carry on these stresses and never, get it resolved. So many men don't go to the doctors. So many men don't go to the therapist. So many men don't go to the dentist. It's a lot of things that you're not doing for your body and for your mind.
I think though too, that's where us as girlfriends, fiancées, wives have to step in too because, like, for me, if I see something, I'm like, Are you okay? Is this something you want to talk about? Because I like for me, the more I work in this field, I could see signs of depression or signs of stress or signs of anxiety in people. And that's why I'm like, you good? And even if he'll tell me no, I'm like, you're not. Just what do you need to do for yourself? Like, do you need to take a day off? What like
Yeah.
because guess what? If you're not being good to yourself, the job don't matter. All this other stuff don't matter because you could potentially not be here because you're stressing yourself out about things that you can't control or you can't fix. So that's another thing too. And I know with Eric, he strives to do so much for his kids, but I'm like, at some point you gotta step back because they're grown and they have to learn how to do things without always turning to you. Like you can lead them, but you can't stress out about it. You can't
Mhm.
because then everything that you're doing is going to be in vain. But I mean, making your husband's doctor appointment, his dentist, even though you may not want to do it, but that may be the only way that he'll go. You know what I mean? So sometimes you gotta step in and you gotta do that because just like we got stuff, they gotta get their prostate checked and know what runs in their family and stuff like that.
Yeah. And just sometimes the mindset, I think it's just more so sometimes the mindset on some people is like, well, I'm not gonna go because I don't need to go. And then it's like the partner, whomever, is not trying to argue with you. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, I mean, I personally don't have that problem, but I know my father has never. My mom is always saying that to him because he making her appointments. Listen, he making her appointments right now as we speak. She at the doctor's. He made the appointment. He taking her to the doctor's. Like he do everything for her, but not for himself. Like I said, I'm 40 something years old and I've never seen my dad go to a doctor's appointment.
And
But
that's probably because he think, well, your mom got this and that going on, but he ain't really got that going on. So
but
he
you
gotta
don't know
make
what
sure
you
he
got
is.
going on. You know, yes,
Exactly,
you
because
don't
he's
know
not
what
going
you
to the
got going
doctor.
on. Yes, and like I said, I was over there last week, and my mom said that, and you need to go to the doctors, please. Like it's, I mean, again, I think it's the more so of a lot of times what they see. I mean, he
Mhm.
probably never seen his dad because I don't know. I know when my grandfather got older, he went to the doctors, but I don't know if he went to the doctors when he was younger. Maybe he never, a lot of times it's just people do what they see. Like maybe he never seen him go to the doctors or I don't know. But I think he's my dad doesn't like the hospital. I know that. So I think a lot of everything is mental. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you honestly may be fearful and have anxiety about doing something, but the result of not doing it is going to be worse than you
Mhm.
possibly just having to deal with your anxiety. But
Right.
because anxiety, like a lot of so many men have anxiety, but they may not know what it is. You ever hear men? Oh no, I don't do that. I don't go to funerals. Oh, I don't do this. I don't go here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, why not? What's going to happen if you go?
Right.
You don't like the
Yeah.
feeling that you get when you go there, so you're going to
Mhm.
avoid it. That's
Right.
it. Like, oh, I don't do that. I don't, like,
Yeah. But like I said, us as women just saying it or putting it out there because like I was saying earlier, a lot of men they're told they gotta be the provider and they gotta do this and you
yes,
can't be weak and you can't be vulnerable and all that stuff. But it's
right.
like, so none of y'all dads went to the doctor? So none of y'all grandfathers went to the doctor?
Yeah, let me
Like,
tell you, my grandfather on my mother's side, he had to go, he had to be hospitalized. He was such a fool, I'll say, that he left on his own, not discharged, left on his own in a snowstorm. I guess he walked home, get home, dies.
what?
Yes. Left. He checked himself out the hospital. Like what? Yes, and died when he got home.
That's horrible.
It is.
Wow.
Like your ego is that big. They don't know what they talk about. I'm fine. They don't know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. Like, oh my God. In a snowstorm.
Listen, I told Eric, I'm not, because I don't know if I told you one day he was working on a car and he decides to carry what's the thing that lift up the car, like that you crank up
Jack.
the jack instead of wheeling it, because that's why his wheels. He decides to carry it, and guess what happens? He drops it on his foot.
No, stop.
So he
Oh,
comes
that was
from.
the day he had to go to the hospital?
So mind you, it was people workers in the house because they were fixing the main bathroom. So he comes up here and I hear the man say, "Oh
Oh,
no."
okay.
So then here he comes. I need help. And I look down, it's blood everywhere. So he goes and he puts his foot in the bathtub. I see all the blood. I call 911 because I don't know what to do. He's like, no, no, I'm gonna drive myself. How? How you gonna
Wait,
drive
so he
yourself?
had sneakers on? He had shoes on? What he had on his feet?
Regular sneakers, but they wasn't steel toe.
Oh my god.
So I had to convince him to go to the hospital. I had to convince him that I was going to call his mother. Like, why do I have to convince you of all of this stuff? I shouldn't have to. And I'm not going to go through that. If something's wrong with you, I'm calling your mother. I'm calling your sister because if something happens to
Oh,
you,
he didn't want
you're-
them to know. He didn't want people to
yes,
know.
we didn't
I
want them
get
to
that.
know.
Yeah, I get that. When
It
Anthony was
turns out though you broke your toe and you got to sit down for 4 to 6 weeks.
listen, when Anthony was in the hospital for a whole week, he didn't want Ava to know. Where's she
I'm
going?
not dealing with that. Mm-mm. I'm
Girl.
calling your family because if something happens, they're like, "Why didn't you call us?" And I don't
Right.
want to deal with
They
that.
gonna think it's you, right? If they're
Exactly.
not getting called, there is no way they're gonna think he doesn't want to worry about us. The thing is he doesn't want them to worry, right?
Exactly.
But they are gonna be upset that they didn't know what was happening.
Exactly. And I'm not dealing with that. So I'm calling them every single
What?
time
You couldn't call us?
because prayer works. And even though they're not here, they can pray for you. And guess his mom, he gonna tell his mom, yeah, Shalia had to convince me to call you because I wasn't. His mom's like,
Right.
why? I'm
Yeah.
not going through that.
But
I am not going through
yeah,
that.
I get that. I actually did that before. So I do understand. I understand him as a son not wanting to worry his mom. Because I know I went to the
But
hospital.
but she would rather know that this is where you are.
Oh, no, I mean that's toxic for him to think that way, but I understand. I understand why, because you're again putting someone else's feelings over your well being. That's what it is. You're putting someone else's feelings over your well being because you don't want to worry your mom.
I'm not dealing with that. No, I'm sorry. Nope. Mm-mm. I'm not having that guilt or them giving.
That is
Nah.
true. Oh, I
Mm.
understand. I
It's
totally.
just that
'Cause that's what they're
women.
gonna think first. If something happens and you don't tell somebody in the family, the first thing they're gonna think is that you didn't want us to know, not that he didn't want, period. That's just what's
Exactly.
gonna happen. That's just
Mm-mm.
what's gonna happen. Because I know I would think the same thing. Like, if something happened to you and he ain't call and nobody told me, I would think the same thing. Why you ain't think I needed to know?
Exactly. And that's the thing though. I don't have a mom and a dad for you to call. You know who to call. So call them every single time. Don't no. And listen, I'm not going through that. Just go to the doctor, get your checkups. If you need to go to like one day he talked about he was having chest pain.
Oh no.
Oh, just give me an aspirin. No. We're going to the ER. You're going to get checked out because I'm not waking up to you not well or having a heart attack or something. No.
Girl.
I can't deal with that kind of stuff. I already got my own issues. Oh yeah, that's just not something that. And then even with that, no, don't call. No, I'm calling them every single time.
You might listen, sir. If you don't want to go, don't tell me.
Listen, because you're going. So yeah, I mean, men and women are very different, and like I said, we already take on a lot, but sometimes we gotta look at them as our other kids. Sorry to say it, but
Girl,
that's how they act sometimes.
raise your sons to be self-sufficient and with sense. Like,
That's the thing. Like in some areas, you're very self sufficient, but when it comes to this, it's like, why?
yeah,
You don't want your kids to know. They gonna just worry. I don't
right.
know.
And you don't want to worry nobody. I listen. I get that. I don't be want nobody to worry about me either. So I get it. I do get it because you feel like everybody got other things to worry about. I don't need to add to it.
But
So
if
I
I never, no, that's the thing. We assume that we're burdens to people. But if they never told you or never rejected, like, I don't call, like, you don't know. You can't just assume that you're a burden to people. No. People want to know if you're okay. Don't just be like, I don't want to be a burden. They got other stuff going on. So what? You don't think your well being is important, just as important to them?
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So,
that is true.
but it's Women's History Month. Make sure y'all celebrate the women in your lives that mean a lot to you because one day, we're all going to leave this earth. So it's important to honor them, make memories with them, especially your grandmoms and your moms if you still have them. That is actually a blessing because a lot of us around this age, even younger, don't
Mm,
have their moms and their grandmoms. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Get
Yep.
all of that knowledge that they got, hear their stories, and let them cook you a good meal. That's one thing I miss about my grandma's house. Going over there, let her thaw me out some black eyed peas. She always had a fresh cake. I miss that. So
Mm,
if you still got your grandma, even your mom, some moms do that. Just
mhm.
make sure that you celebrate them and spend time with them. So we're going to close with our lyrics like we always do when it's just us. What's your lyrics for this week?
Mine is "Girl on Fire" by Alicia Keys. Looks like a girl, but she's a flame so bright she can burn your eyes. Better look the other way. You can try, but you'll never forget her name. She's on top of the world, hottest of the hottest girls.
Okay. So my lyrics are from Every Woman by Shaka Khan. Excuse me. And the lyrics I chose say, I can sense your needs like rain unto the seas. I can make a rhyme of confusion in your mind. And when it comes down to some good old fashioned love, I've got it. That's what I've got. Because I'm every woman, it's all in me. Anything you want done, baby, I'll do it naturally. Yeah. Um, So we're going to get out of here. As always, you guys can catch us every Wednesday on 216 The Blend. Shout out to Bob and T for having us over there. You can go to our Instagram page, the_JAWN_podcast. Tap the link in our bio, and of course, it'll take you to everywhere we are. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube and check us out. New episode drop every Saturday. So we will catch you guys next week. Thanks to all of our listeners. Thanks to everybody who shares and provides feedback. We appreciate and love y'all. So we will catch you guys soon. Peace out.
Peace out.
Hold up, hold up, hold up. Don't leave yet. Thanks for listening to my mom and auntie. Make sure you guys follow them on Instagram at the_John_podcast. On Twitter at W_the J. On TikTok at the John A Podcast. And visit our website www.johnpod.net. Don't forget to ask the Jawn, sending your listening letters to thejawnpod@gmail.com. Period.
This is the JAWN, a podcast. I love y'all. Be forward.